My favorite book when I was young was called The 100 Dresses. The story revolves around a young girl named Wanda who is mocked by her classmates for wearing the same faded blue dress every day. Wanda claims to have 100 dresses at home, but her classmates refuse to believe her. The key events in the book center around the impact of Wanda's situation on her classmates, particularly two girls named Maddie and Peggy. Maddie is torn between her sympathy for Wanda amidst the bullying and her fear of becoming a social outcast herself. Peggy, on the other hand, is the ringleader of the teasing and bullying. Fast forward to the end. They come to realization that the 100 dresses Wanda mentioned were her drawings of her classmates, including Maddie and Peggy, each in their own beautiful dresses. Throughout my high school, my life can be likened to this story. It is often said that teenagers begin discovering themselves in high school, but I did the opposite. I more so lost myself. The source of my pleasure and delight shifted from music, friends, games, to letters imprinted on my student report card. I lived my life by checklists, setting myself with unrealistic tasks that often went unfinished, causing me to feel overwhelmed and lethargic. I spent hours on a school project, crafting out a model, details meticulously hand-glued until sunrise. Only until I received the approval from others, I was satisfied. And as I'm writing this speech, I stare at the wall, waiting for the most perfect words to fall into my mind and structure itself into the perfect embodiments of my convoluted thoughts. While my sister just looks at me as if I was having some kind of an existential crisis. But perhaps, just like Wanda's drawings, the beauty lies in the imperfect, raw expressions of our true selves. Before, I often put my own body at fault for being unable to cope with the demanding pressures in which I impose on myself. I envisioned an endpoint of success and validation, but overlooked the process, blinded by the desire to excel. The toxic attachment to perfectionism provided me with an illusion of promising achievement and recognition that has basically devoured me hollow. In my pursuit of flawlessness and academic validation, I sought for control. I constantly revised and second-guessed my work, delaying completion and stifling potential creativity. This cycle perpetuated a sense of unworthiness and prevented me from fully appreciating my accomplishments. I looked at my mediocrity disdainfully, even when my humanity screams the loudest. Seeking validation didn't shape me, it more so erased me. Like so, I have always attempted to be in control. I was always in control, except when I vigorously bite my nails before an exam, followed by continued leg bobbing as I write. I stress eat, devouring a ton of ice cream in one go. My heart palpitates, checking my grades with worries that I did not meet up to the standards of others. I was afraid. I was afraid of being thought incapable. The words, "maybe she's not as smart as I thought she was," scared the ambitions within me. And if you think about it, it's so easy for us to just go, love yourself. It really is. But how do we reconcile loving ourselves and avoid being egotistical? I can now see that Wanda's claim of having 100 beautiful dresses was not just a fabrication to seek validation, but rather a representation of her creativity and unique perspective. But nowadays, it undeniably is difficult to accept ourselves as who we really are. It is so hard when the rapidly globalizing technology and social media plastered unrealistic ideals on our faces. Everywhere I see online are these so-called it girls and the trend of romanticizing your life. As we progress to the future, I feel like the more inhumane we've become. Social media suggests that rather than waking up late, rushing a breakfast, running to school, you should wake up before your alarm rings, do a 30-step skincare routine, grab a Starbucks, and proceed to get straight A's in school. These standards became something we should strive to adhere to, because that's how you get the validation from the public. Because I wasn't smart like the girls on Instagram, nor pretty, nor popular, or likable. If I had my life as collected as what these videos show me, I wouldn't even be here. But let's pause and reflect. If we were to have our lives as perfectly curated as these videos portray, where would our individuality and uniqueness lie? It may sound absurd, but we have unwittingly become the victims of these detrimental influences. However, I realize that when I focus on doing rather than being, I realize that true fulfillment lies in embracing our flaws and celebrating the journey. Rather than fixating on an unattainable destination, imperfection and vulnerability are not a sign of weakness, but rather an integral part of being human. So, a little story time. Throughout the summer break in my high school year, I've spent hours on Google Scholar, immersing myself in articles exploring biological serendipities, because I'm a bit of a bio nerd. I realized that many of major biological breakthroughs derived from imperfections in the process, what we call the happy accidents. From Alexander Fleming's discovery of penicillin from the growth of bacterial colonies around leftover mold, to discovery of insulin from sugar concentrations in a dog's urine when researching the pancreas, the process of discoveries and concepts of genetic diversity serves as a compelling illustration of how imperfection can contribute to the overall beauty and success of life. Mutations, although frequently considered as flaws, can lead to unique traits and characteristics that enhance an organism's chances of survival. The imperfections that arise from the genetic mutations are not viewed as failures, but rather as opportunities for innovation and growth. These flaws or errors in the DNA sequence are imperfections that can lead to the emergence of unique traits and adaptations. For instance, a peacock's extravagant and vibrant tail feathers, which are considered a symbol of beauty, are a result of genetic mutations. These mutations have led to the development of intricate patterns and colors that attract mates and ensure reproductive success. Elements of biology demonstrates that embracing imperfections and unexpected elements can lead to extraordinary outcomes. From this, we can deduce that evolution has been a process of trial and error. We as organisms of Earth have evolved, losing and gaining characteristics that benefit chances of survival. But can we really say that any of the evolutionary history was any less significant? The imperfections that existed throughout evolutionary history have played a vital role in shaping us into the best versions of humanity today. And as an aspiring biologist, this fact means more to me than anything. Did you know that the observed probability of chromosomal independent assortment resulting in me was 1 in a trillion? And that basically applies for everyone here as well, 1 in a trillion. Can you believe that? That is a whopping 9 zeros in the number. And that itself serves as a reminder to celebrate our own uniqueness and find inspiration in our perceived flaws. If you think about it, we are but threads in the grand fabric of life, but each of us a special one. The truest rewards lie not in the final piece of the puzzle, but in the curiosity and inquiry that resuscitate our hidden creativity and which drives the perfection. My parents were never the one to boast about me to their peers, nor the ones to compare me to others in my age. My mom always said, the only validation you need is within yourself, just within my domain and within my league. Because really, if you seek your self-worth on the opinions of others, there's really no end to it. We're so often encouraged to be different, as such attributes are thought with a positive connotation. But how can we really be different and unique if the only way we can receive external validation is from fitting within the crowd and meeting the demands of others? This is a photo when I was around 3. From the first time you open your eyes to the last moment you close them, you are the one who experiences and handles every moment, not anyone else. So finding my most complete self will be more reassuring than any other companion. Ultimately, you are your own guide, mentor, and colleague. Today, I'm different. I no longer frown at the look of myself in the mirror. I no longer set myself within the boundaries of another. I still strive for great grades, practice good habits, but mainly for the sake of myself, for turning me into who I truly want to be, and for you to be who you want to be. I turn my passions, what I love, to the root of motivation that strives me to be better, not the opinions of others. Where once my motivation was driven by the desire to please my parents with an A+, it now stems from the sheer love that I have for my studies and the unwavering dedication I have to shape my future through hard work. I would like to end this speech off with a quote that I've held very dearly to myself since I was in 5th grade, and that is, "An expert in everything was once a beginner." Thank you.